gets the dramatic win over the Mustangs. In that game, by the way, Corey Haynes set up a pair of fourth-quarter touchdowns for Pearce with runs of 62 and 23 yards. On the other side of the fence, North Mesquite won a thriller, edging Samuel 24-21. Philip Littlejohn scored from the 2 with 56 seconds left, and that was enough for the Stallions to win a game. So two teams coming off a win and a loss that could have gone either way, and tonight, well, a new attitude at Pearce, John Nagel.
No question about it, and that showed in that first game against Marcus. And if you talk to new coach Todd Nix, people have been slapping him on the back all week saying, hey, great effort, coach. He doesn't want to hear anything about that. He wanted to win that football game, and to him, a loss is still a loss, and he's trying to turn this program around, Wade.
The Pearce Mustangs will receive the opening kickoff. Deep for Pearce will be number 8, Richard Johnson, and number 31, Corey Haynes. The kick-off man for the North Mesquite Stallions, number 24, Emilio Duran, who had a 35-yard field goal last week, a 5'6" junior. He will boom it away. North Mesquite with the white jerseys and blue pants. Pearce in the blue uniforms with white trim. Home opener for the Mustangs of Pearce. We're underway from Eagle Mustang. Johnson at the 4. On the reverse, here's Haynes, 10, 15, 20, and he is spilled at the 23-yard line. Spilled by Robbie Hulsey, a 5'10" junior. It'll be first down for Pearce, and in the backfield will be Scott Silverthorne and Corey Haynes, the running backs. Silverthorne is a 5'10", 180-pound senior. He's number 33. He'll share duty with number 31, Corey Haynes, a 5'6" junior, 166-pounder. The quarterback is senior Derek Eubanks, 6'3", 205-pounder. Wideouts on both sides. Out of an I set, Eubanks, the senior. First down. Silverthorne tries the left side.
Just a simple dive play. You know, going back to the kickoff, Wade, that was a reverse play very similar to the one that actually beat Pearce last week. He had a lane there. If he could have gotten to it a little bit quicker, that was set up very nicely. Just one Pearce tackler or one North Mesquite tackler got in there and spoiled the play. Otherwise, he might have gone.
That is a huge offensive line for Pearce, and we'll comment on that in a moment, but it averages 255 pounds. Big hole for Haynes out to about the 34-yard line. Last week, Corey Haynes raced for 126 yards. He's met by JoJo London.
And boy, there you see what makes Corey Haynes so difficult. He pops through the hole very quickly. You know, we're going to have a chance to watch this young man, and I don't think a lot of people in the district know about him. Now watch the burst of speed. He hits the hole, boom. Very good running back.
The tackles for Pearce, 270 and 250. The guards, 248 and 258. The center, 257. Wingback right side. Eubanks to throw on the run, and a diving attempt up around midfield goes incomplete. Looking for Richard Johnson, the split end, the 5'11" senior.
North Mesquite actually had that play defended very well on that. That was really a dangerous pass for Eubanks to throw, and unfortunately he threw it into the ground, making it very difficult to intercept. Otherwise, could have been some trouble there. With
early first quarter, no score. Pearce at their 35-yard line, facing second down and 10. Johnson is split wide to the right. McFarland is on the wing. Eubanks on the second down and 10 call. It's the tailback, big hole, and slipping down, Corey Haynes, the 5'6" senior. Again, JoJo London was in front of him. Haynes running well off that left side. It's White Knight, the tackle, 6'1", 250, and Reagan Daly, the left guard, 6'2", 248.
Reagan Daly had the highest grades of any Pearce offensive lineman in the game last week. And there again, you saw Corey Haynes coming through a big hole, and the only thing that stopped him there is his feet went out from underneath him.
Amir El-Gururi, the right guard, is at 258. The right tackle, David Pease, at 270. With the exception of the center, they're all seniors. Here is 3rd and 3 at the 41-yard line of Pearce. Silverthorne met at the line of scrimmage. Scott had 2 touchdowns last week, the 5'10" senior 180-pounder. They marked the football at the 43-yard line, and it's 4th down and short yardage, but apparently Pearce is going to give it up here on 4th down.
Again, another dive play. Looked like a little bit of an option, and he read the fullback, and not much room to run in there at all.
The punter for Pearce is Brian Roberson, a 6'2", 150-pound junior. Low driving punt, fielded at about the 25-yard line, and this is Montenegro staying to his feet. He comes all the way out to the 40. A fine run by Hector Montenegro, the rover back on defense, an all-district performer, 5'10" senior with great balance.
And there's a flag down around the 30-yard line down here. Don't know what it is. Usually when you see a flag in that area, it's going to go against the receiving team, and you can see the Pearce players pointing in that direction. Boy, this is a fine run. Look at Montenegro breaking several tackles here and staying on his feet. Again, looking for a little room. An excellent effort by Montenegro.
Illegal substitution against the Stallions. 3 men on the field.
Well, a big break here for the Pearce Mustangs.
And you hate to see something like that just when you're looking for an illegal block or something that you usually see on that. The illegal substitution is an automatic 1st down and a 15-yard penalty.
Pearce gets it right back, John.
Big break for the Mustangs early way.
43-yard line of North Mesquite. Wingback on the right side, McFarland. This is the tailback, Haynes. Boy, he is running well as he crashes inside the 35 down to about the 33-yard line. Corey Haynes taking advantage of that left side of the Pearce offensive line. White Knight and Daly and Kayum. Max Kayum is a center at 257.
But you knew sooner or later, you know, whenever you see that flag come down in that area, you just almost don't even have to watch the official for holding. And that was one of the reasons there was a nice hole to run by there, grabbing a little jersey on the left side of the line.
Penalties proving costly here in the early going. Football back towards midfield now. Last week, in that tough loss to Marcus, Pearce rushed for 180 yards and through the air 27 yards. So they definitely feature the running attack.
And there you see New Richardson Pearce coach Todd Nix on the sidelines right now, looking at about a 1st down and 16.
Just across midfield, Eubanks rolling out, looking for a receiver. Throws it into the turf, and it goes incomplete right in front of Richard Johnson.
You know, North Mesquite's doing a real nice job on those rollouts of containing Eubanks. And Eubanks has got some speed, but he's not exceptionally fast. So he's finding himself pressured, and there he just threw the ball away.
Second down coming up, 2nd and long yardage. West Auburn has checked in. West St. Alban has checked in at quarterback for J.J. Pearce, number 16. He is a junior. Wingback on the right side on 2nd and 20 from the 49-yard line of North Mesquite. No score in this game. This is Haynes. Haynes gets back to the line of scrimmage and maybe an extra yard, but that's about all.
You know, one thing you notice right off the bat, we've talked a lot about Pearce's size advantage in the line, but one thing I'm noticing about North Mesquite right now, watch the quickness of the North Mesquite interior line. Well, I mean, St. Aubin barely got the ball to Haynes here. Look at that pursuit. At least 6 white shirts around the ball. You know, sometimes size isn't the advantage that you think it's going to be, Wade. Sometimes quickness is better.
3rd and long, 3rd and 19 at the 49-yard line of North Mesquite. 7:48 to go first quarter. North Mesquite on defense. No score. This is St. Aubin, plenty of time. He throws deep over the middle, and Johnson bobbles and makes the catch. Richard Johnson, the 5'11 senior, split in, met by Richard Mason, but a super grab by Johnson. He holds on, first down for the Mustangs.
Boy, and I want to tell you something. St. Albans came into the game, almost got tackled on the handoff on the last play. Boy, he stood in the pocket and hummed a rocket. That was a 25-yard bullet pass. Watch this pass. Boy, this is a tight spiral boom. Nice catch by Johnson.
So West St. Aubin moves in at quarterback, and he hits a bullet to Richard Johnson right on target. Wide out right side, first down. 26-yard line of North Mesquite. Haynes to the outside. He's at the 15. He's at the 10. He could go. He's at the 5. It is going to be touchdown for the Pearce Mustangs.
Boy, what a beautiful play. And you got to watch Corey Haynes, who read the blocking on that play. It's just a little delay. He goes to his right, makes a great cut to his right to get to the outside. He got a great block once he got to the 10-yard line. Terrific, terrific execution by J.J. Pearce. Watch him. He's going to make the cut right here, and he looks outside. I can't tell. That's a beautiful block right there. That's the block that sprung him into the end zone. That was number 8, Richard Johnson, on that block, Wade, and that was a beautiful downfield block by a receiver, and that was the key to that touchdown play.
There's a timeout charged to North Mesquite after that sensational run. So West St. Aubin steps in at quarterback, fires a bullet to Richard Johnson. That ignites the Mustangs, and then Corey Haynes does the rest on the ground. He's been running well throughout this first quarter, and the Pearce Mustangs strike here in the first period with 7 minutes to go. We'll be right back with the extra point after this message. Capping a 26-yard touchdown run by Haynes. Middlecoff to hold. Bowers is a 5'9 senior. Extra point is good. And the Pearce Mustangs have taken a 7-0 lead over the Stallions of North Mesquite. John Pearce, of course, coming off a 2-8 season a year ago. North Mesquite coming off a 5-4-1 season. North Mesquite out of 12-5A, and of course Pearce out of 11-5A. And this Pearce team, with really a new life this year, they could be a real surprise team this season.
You know, again, it's one of those situations where people are so used to picking the same teams, you know, the Richardsons, the Lake Highlands, the Planos, that sometimes they overlook a development, overlook a team. And I think in the case of Pearce, this is a team that's going to be very overlooked by the time the district season starts. This is not going to be a pushover team. And, you know, the way Todd Nix has got his squad working together right now, and you can see it out here on the field, this is not going to be everybody's favorite homecoming foe anymore.
I think it's interesting, some of the things that Coach Nix has reflected on. One of the things he wanted to do this year is just keep things simple.
Yeah, I think sometimes the teams that are struggling a little bit tend to bring in a lot of complicated schemes, and they've got an old coach at Arl Turner, Charlie Lyles, said, we're not going to whip many, so we're going to try to fool a lot of them. Well, you can only go so far against a good ball club in fooling them, and sometimes you just got to get back to the basics, and it boils down to execution, and that's what you saw on that play. Excellent execution by Pearce.
Following the touchdown by Haynes and the extra point, Mustangs will kick it off. Brian Bowers will kick off. Philip Littlejohn is deep, along with Brian Bellamy for the Stallions of Coach Mark Elam. North Mesquite beating Samuel last week in their opener 24-21, scoring late to pull out the win, and the Mustangs losing a heartbreaker in the last minute to Flower Mound Marcus 29-25. Short kick will be fielded by an up man at the 32, twisting and turning. And again, good field position, returned up to about the 43-yard line. Montenegro.
I tell you, this little Montenegro is kind of a tough little customer here. It looked like it took about 6 or 7 Pearce defenders to drag him down. Again, a little bit of a surprise on the kickoff. Just a little chip shot over the first line of blockers in there, trying to pick up maybe pick up a little bit of an onside kick there.
Almost halfway through the first quarter, we finally get a look at North Mesquite's offense. Wing T. Quarterback is Luke Overstreet. He's a junior. Man in motion is London. And this is Mason getting the call as he comes out to close to the 50-yard line, met by Richard Cody, the outside linebacker, who had 14 tackles and returned an interception for a touchdown last week, and that is a pretty good night's work.
You know, Coach Nix felt that he should have been the Metroplex Player of the Week. He was a little disappointed to find out that he wasn't.
Second down. Give it to Mason. And Mason bulls his way down to about the 41-yard line for North Mesquite, a first down. Sean Neff in on the tackle. Littlejohn and Mason in the backfield. Philip Littlejohn is the tailback, and Mason is the fullback.
Well, you get the feeling that Pearce is looking a little bit for Littlejohn to be running the football, and that's created a couple of nice holes for the fullback, Mason.
First down for the Stallions, just outside the Pearce 40. London goes in motion. This is Mason. Mason again. Straight ahead, and the junior 200-pounder barrels down to around the 32, 33-yard line, close to another first down, pickup of about 8.
You know, so far in the first 3 plays from North Mesquite, you're seeing a lot of excellent ball faking and ball handling by the quarterback. Right now, Pearce a little confused on defense as to who has the ball.
London is split to the right. Second and about 2. Well, Mason again as flags are flying. That defensive alignment, excuse me, John, that defensive alignment for Pearce, Torello, Rosenblum, and also Trapp, and the linebackers are Wilkinson, Neff, Brandenberger, and Cody, and secondary Mitchell, Hardin, Sellers, and Corey Haynes.
Yeah, I thought we saw a little movement on the left side there, drawing Pearce off sides on the play.
Just inside the 35-yard line of the Mustangs.
Right now, number 41, Brian Whiteknight, is in there at a linebacker slot, a sophomore. Second and about 6. This is the quarterback. This is Overstreet, and he runs out of real estate.
Number 62.
Charles Torello, 6'2", senior, and John, he tips the scale somewhere between 280 and 290.
Well, he's not a guy that you want to necessarily run at, because it's going to be pretty hard to move him out of the way. Outstanding defensive player and all-district selection last year.
It's now third down. Third and about 4. Football is inside the Pearce 35. 5 minutes to go, first quarter. Overstreet, and off the fingertips of John Wisenhunt, the 6'1 junior tight end. He was there.
You know, right now, I kind of expect North Mesquite to actually go for it. They're down deep in the territory. A little surprised there that if you take that, we've got 2 downs to make the 4 yards kind of thinking, that North Mesquite threw the ball on that play. I think with the way they've been running the football, be a lot easier to pick up the first down.
Last week, North Mesquite totaled 379 yards, only 46 passing, 333 on the ground. They do not throw very often. Here is 4th down, and they are going for it inside the 35 of Pearce. 4th and about 4. Overstreet wants to throw. Overstreet showing some speed, and he goes out of bounds trying to pick up the first down.
You know, so far we've seen very little of Philip Littlejohn. And I don't know if that's in Coach Mark Elam's game plan, but let's take a look at Overstreet. I mean, this is a junior quarterback, very good foot speed. Now he's going to read it. He's looking for the pass. Now he sees he's got to run, and he heads right for the sticks. Very heady play.
First down, North Mesquite, just inside the Pearce 30. Pearce leads 7-0. Under 5 minutes to go, first quarter at Eagle Mustang in Richardson. Beautiful night for football. And this is Mason. Mason picking up a couple yards. Philip Littlejohn, well, John, he may still be trying to catch his breath from last week. He scored 3 touchdowns, gained 137 yards on 24 carries.
Again, you know, Coach Elam, you're talking about a young man who is in his gifted and talented program at North Mesquite High School. A very smart individual. So far, I had to double check just to see if he was in the lineup. They have not used him, but they may be saving him for a little Sunday punch in the second quarter.
He's out there, number 21. This is 2nd and about 8, about the 28-yard line. This is Overstreet. He runs that option. And a nice move by Overstreet takes him all the way down to about the 18-yard line, very close to another first down. Richard Cody again makes the tackle for the Mustangs. It's first down, and North Mesquite is driving toward a tying touchdown late here in the first quarter.
You know something, Wade, again, we're seeing a matchup of size versus quickness, and you see the quickness of North Mesquite really coming into play right now, because Pearce is not catching and not getting to the corner and shutting down or containing the quarterback.
1st and 10. Football at the 17-yard line of Pearce. Inside give, shaking off one man and picking up some extra yardage. Great effort by fullback Richard Mason. He has been the workhorse for the Stallions of North Mesquite.
And if you folks came out expecting to watch a lot of Philip Littlejohn, it's more like the Richard Mason show right now. Very tough runner. Now he's going to take a hit in the backfield. Look how strong he is. He almost gets the ball stripped from him. Still barrels forward for about 4 yards.
2nd down. Football is inside the 15. 2nd and about 6. This is Mason off the left side. Big hole. He's at the goal line, and that is a touchdown for North Mesquite. Richard Mason, the 5'10 junior who has done it all, the 200-pounder, barrels in for the score.
Boy, and again, great execution, North Mesquite. I mean, we're all expecting to see Philip Littlejohn, and right now Richard Mason is showing a lot of drive right now. Look at this run. He's going to break through a couple of tackles and go in standing up. Easy to understand why North Mesquite rushed for 379 yards last week.
Duran on the extra point. He booms it up there, and it is good. We've got a tie game. It is North Mesquite 7 and Pearce 7. Let's watch it again.
You know, again, they're going to Mason exclusively, and look at him make cuts. Boy, he has a real nose for the end zone, and he's not much of an east-west runner. It's pretty much north and south.
We'll be right back for the kickoff after this. We're Ute with John Nagel. Richard Tessar is our spotter tonight. Lance Ute on stats, and we've got a good one here, John. 7-7 first period.
Boy, if you like, you know, teams that are executing real well, both teams put together excellent touchdown drives. We've got a little bit of a game going here right now.
Duran will boot it. Haynes and Johnson deep inside the 5. Weather conditions ideal for our second game and our telecable game of the week. Johnson, 15, 20, not quite the 20. White shirts everywhere.
Boy, you got to love the way that North Mesquite flows to the ball. He started out, he got to the 15-yard line, and he got descended on from just about every angle by white shirts. Real impressed with North Mesquite's quickness to the ball.
The Mustangs of J.J. Pearce under new coach Todd Nix. And we're delighted to have the Mustangs as our telecable game of the week. And we're locked in a 7-7 game with 3:04 to go first period. And St. Albans remains at quarterback. Eye alignment. St. Albans. Not sure if that was a busted play or not, but he comes off the left side out to about the 23.
Definitely a busted play. He turned around to look for somebody to hand off, and his backs had gone the other way, and he did well to pick up the yardage. Let's take a look right here. He turns around. Oops. 33 Scott Silverthorne went the wrong way, or else St. Albans went the wrong way.
It'll be second down.
There you see Coach Todd Nix looking on right now.
Football at the 23-yard line. Second and about 6 for Pearce. Haynes, this time he is dropped in the backfield, back inside the 20 at the 19. Matt Agee, 5'10" senior, number 69. Last week, he had 7 tackles, recovered a fumble, and 2 quarterback sacks for North Mesquite.
And once again, Wade, we're seeing the quickness and pursuit of North Mesquite. They are flying to the football. You know, look for Pearce maybe to run a little misdirection or a counter play to try to take away some of that pursuit.
North Mesquite, young offensively, but experienced defensively. Defense is their strength, and they're showing it in this one. 1:36 to go, first period, score tied. A 3rd and long for Pearce. Football inside the 20. St. Albans wants to throw, and he loses the football inside the 10, and again the speed looked like Montenegro for North Mesquite. Big turnover. North Mesquite has come up with it around the 10-yard line. Hector Montenegro.
And oh boy, did St. Albans get hit on this play. Now he's going to be looking for Johnson down there, and he sees he's in trouble, and he moves back and just gets murdered down there. And there's Montenegro with that great speed closing in on the football.
So it is 1st and goal to go at the Pearce 9-yard line with 1:17 to go in the first quarter. Huge break. Littlejohn and Mason side by side in the backfield. Overstreet the quarterback. Here is Littlejohn, and Littlejohn twists and turns and gets to the 3. And there's a look at Philip Littlejohn, who last week had the 3 touchdowns and 137 yards, and he's met by Dan Harden.
Well, I guess he does play for North Mesquite. Again, you see what makes Littlejohn such a tough running back. He almost broke this in for a touchdown here. He's going to take the ball and move to his left or move to his right. Watch him spin here. That's a big-time college move right there.
2nd and goal at the 3-yard line of Pearce. Diving over the middle goes Philip Littlejohn. So they're calling on Littlejohn from inside the 10. And he is getting closer and closer to that Pearce goal line with 33 seconds to go in the first period. Football is at the Pearce 1, 3rd and goal at the Mustangs 1, the Stallions of North Mesquite knocking on the door. Over the center, 5'11" senior, 190, Donnie Kersey. Overstreet brings him out, looks over the defense. 1 yard away from a go-ahead touchdown. Diving Littlejohn, touchdown, North Mesquite. So we look at Philip Littlejohn. They go with him inside the 10, and he moves them into the end zone to give the North Mesquite Stallions the lead.
And a very, very costly turnover on the sack and fumble. This is just a simple goal line play, and Littlejohn just goes up and he crosses the plane.
7 seconds to go in the first quarter. Extra point coming up. Duran is set to boot it, but we've got some extracurricular activity just prior to that snap.
And I think we were still waiting for North Mesquite to snap the ball on that play right now.
13-7, North Mesquite leading Pearce. Back-to-back touchdowns. after Pearce had taken an early 7-0 lead. And now we'll try it again. Kennedy will hold for Emilio Duran, the senior kicker. 7 seconds to go in the opening quarter. He booms it up there. It is good again. So the score is now North Mesquite 14, Pearce 7, with 7 seconds to go, John.
Boy, again, turnovers really hurt you in the game of football, especially turnovers inside the 20 or the red zone. North Mesquite needed 3 plays to take advantage of that and score. And again, you're getting a good look at North Mesquite's quickness off the ball.
The officials tonight, the referee is Gary Baird, the umpire, Fady Tillman, the head linesman, Jeff Batts, the line judge, Neelan Mitchell, and the back judge is Autry Terry. Emilio Duran will kick it off for the Stallions of North Mesquite, looking for their 2nd win of the year. Pearce looking for their 1st win under new coach Todd Nix. Our telecable game of the week from Eagle Mustang Stadium in Richardson. 14-7. North Mesquite now leading. Silverthorne and Haynes at the 5 to return the kickoff. This should be the final play of the 1st quarter. Just a slight breeze tonight would favor North Mesquite on this kickoff. At the 3, dropped, fielded again, reverse. This is Haynes. Haynes is tripped up, upended around the 17-yard line, and that should end the 1st quarter.
I think the fumble on this play kind of destroyed the timing of the reverse. Again, a nice lane set up, but that fumble just destroys the timing and allows the pursuit to get there. A good tackle by number 35 for North Mesquite. And that's Mark Watson. And they do hit in this game, too.
This game features a couple of the early season scoring leaders. Of course, Philip Littlejohn with his 3 touchdowns in the area scoring. He is 4th this week. And Scott Silverthorne from Pearce with a couple touchdowns, also among the leaders. In the rushing department, Littlejohn with that big game last week, and Haynes also among the top rushers in the area in Class 5A. Good look at Pearce quarterback as Derek Eubanks checks back in, 6'3 senior, 205. He was 3 for 13 through the air last week. The starter gave way to West St. Alban, and now we see Eubanks again. Wideouts on the right side. Pearce trying to get that offense rolling again, trailing 14-7, start to the 2nd quarter. Nice pitch. Haynes off the left side. Stays in bounds, trying to get out to about the 25-yard line. Linebacker Corey Green met him over there. Green is a 180-pound linebacker. He shares that duty with the other linebacker, Richard Mason.
Now, I don't know what we're doing here. I think it's a... Oh, boy, there we go. I guess we're throwing candy up to the fans.
There has been a penalty. One of the players also shaken up. Number 10 for Pearce is place kicker Brian Bowers.
He looks like he's going to be okay. He's walking off under his own power down there. You can see him walking with one of the coaches. Probably took a little bit of a stinger in the helmet there. number 45, Anthony Marino.
Penalty against the Mustangs. Football is inside the 15-yard line. Eubanks brings him out with a wing back on the right side. Inside give to Scott Silverthorne. Silverthorne, the 5'10" senior 180-pounder, trying to find some running room.
You know, Corey Haynes has had a couple of nice runs in the first quarter, but you're almost starting to get the feeling that Pearce is going to have to throw the ball effectively to loosen up this quick defense of North Mesquite right now. They seem to just seem to be sputtering a little bit, Wade, right at the moment.
Second down, football at the 18-yard line. Second and about 10. Again, that pursuit by North Mesquite, and Haynes is hit in the backfield for a loss. That defensive charge up front, the tackles Chad Evans and John Williams, the nose guard Wayne Mayhall, and the ends are Mark Diaz and Anthony Marino. Right now they're plugging the middle and slowing down the Pearce attack.
You know, again, Pearce needs to find a way to kind of negate some of that pursuit and the North Mesquite's ability to fly to the football right now. And again, you're seeing it right now. They're going backwards, not forward.
It's now 3rd and 15 for Pearce from their 15-yard line. Wideouts on both sides for the Mustangs. Eubanks looking for a receiver, throws over the middle and in and out of the arms of Wade McFarland. Good defensive work. Looked like number 15 was close to it. That's Chad Murphy.
That was a real good throw by Eubanks. That was right on the money, but Murphy steps in front and gets his hand in front and makes a nice defensive play to knock it away at the last minute. There you see him. He breaks open there, but again, good coverage by Chad Murray.
Brian Roberson back at his 2-yard line for Pearce to kick it away. North Mesquite should come away with excellent field position. Big rush. Low wobbly kick is fielded inside the 50. And a great return again by Montenegro. Hector Montenegro, the 5'10" senior 165-pounder, the roverback, has been something on special teams.
Well, he seems to have eyes in the back of his head. He catches the ball, and he runs right into the wedge and pops out and finds an opening again, giving the Stallions. Watch this play right now. He's going to bust right through the wedge here, and again, he's about 1 or 2 players from stepping into the end zone.
North Mesquite first down at the Pearce 22-yard line. This is Little John again. And Little John starting to take charge as he goes inside the 15, met by Dan Harden, the strong safety, 5'11" senior 167-pounder for the Mustangs. But behind the running of Philip Littlejohn, the Stallions starting to dominate on the ground.
It's officials' time out here. You know, once again, this becomes a very crucial defensive stand for Pearce. The ball down inside the 15-yard line. You need to somehow come out of this with a field goal in order to retain just a little bit of momentum, because you're coming off a tough loss in a game you probably should have won. A team punches the ball in, you're down by 14. There's a possibility of a letdown. Pearce needs to suck it up right here and make a big play on defense.
Here's second down and about a yard. Football at the 13 of Pearce. Or they could use a turnover here. That's McDonald. Sammy McDonald, 5'8" junior, 170-pound fullback, runs behind Richard Mason at that position, and he shows good power and speed.
And the key to this play again, look at the great faking. I'm not even sure Pearce knew who had the ball until they were down on the 5-yard line. Great ball faking by Luke Overstreet, the junior quarterback for North Mesquite.
It is 1st and goal inside the 5. We'll call it the 4 on the fine run by McDonald. Wingback on the right side. This is Littlejohn, touchdown for North Mesquite.
And if you're Todd Nix right now, you're saying to yourself, hey, this is just a little bit too easy. North Mesquite able to score 3 touchdowns, 3 possessions, and Pearce has got to toughen up on defense, or it's going to be a long night. Just a simple little sweep out to the right, and Littlejohn, twisting, turning, slashing style, carries it right in.
Second touchdown of the game for Littlejohn, and he has 5 touchdowns in 2 games. Duran on the extra point, and that is good. So the score now is North Mesquite 21, Pearce 7. We'll be back for the kickoff in just a moment.
First telecast sporting events. This was our trivia question from last week, and you've got 3 answers there. The correct answer is May 17th, 1939.
Knew it all the time.
I was wondering there, Wade, what college is Princeton? Have you heard of that?
Somewhere
Is that
up
out
there north,
east?
somewhere in the north. Duran kicking off. Johnson and Haynes deep for Pearce. They need a big return here. 21-7 favor of North Mesquite. Johnson fields it over his shoulders. 15-20. Good second effort. Gets him up close to the 30-yard line. Richard Johnson's the 5'11" senior for the Mustangs. And again, another flag.
And this looks like a little extracurricular activity down here. There was a little bit of a pile up away from the ball. I don't know which way this is going. I think they're pointing at North Mesquite right now. And, of course, North Mesquite is pointing at Pearce. So we'll let the officials sort it out.
That flag is resting at about the 36-yard line on the Pearce side. And a nice discussion going on.
Well, it appears that the referee wants to know exactly what's going on here.
Illegal block in the back.
Pearce. That's something they don't need right now.
Well, the combination of penalties and turnovers is really why this score is 21-7 right now. And this is an important drive for Pearce. They need to take the ball and
Against
put it
the
into end
offense.
zone and cut the 3 down. Otherwise,
Got a
it's
first
very
down.
easy.
8:46 to go here in the second quarter. North Mesquite 21, Pearce 7. Pearce scored first, but North Mesquite has come roaring back with 3 unanswered scores. Again out of the eye with Eubanks, the quarterback for the Mustangs of Pearce. Tailback is Haynes. And Haynes fights his way out to about the 24-25-yard line. Good effort, but he was met again by Richard Mason. Mason last year had 83 tackles and 5 interceptions. He was defensive sophomore of the year.
Just about to say that, Wade. The sophomore of the year last year in a conference that's got some excellent ball players in it. That's quite an honor. And again, you got to be very impressed with the way North Mesquite plays defense. Again, their linebackers scraping to the ball.
Second and 5 for Pearce. Eubanks, the quarterback, gets to about the 26-yard line, and that will bring up a 3rd down. Mustangs need to maintain that football here, and they'll be facing 3rd down.
Eubanks may have read that play wrong. It looked like a handoff to Corey Haynes was the play that was there. Haynes broke free, had a big hole, but Eubanks kept the ball, and unfortunately they're still 3 yards away from a 1st down.
They need to get out to about the 29. Football just across the 25-yard line. Pearce into the field. 7-man front. Haynes picked the loose ball up, and he is stopped for a loss. So everything seemed to go wrong at this moment for the Mustangs. Anthony Marino was there defensively.
You know, it's hard to tell down on the field, and you can see the unhappiness on Corey Haynes' face. He makes a great play to pick this ball up. Most coaches are going to say just dive on it. But, you know, right now, again, very difficult to say from up here, but it looks like just a little bit of lack of concentration on the field for Pearce right now.
Brian Roberson stands close to his 5. End over end kick, and this is Montenegro, who's been sensational on returns, and again makes a good return across midfield down to about the 44-yard line, met by Brian Whiteknight, and again good field position for the Stallions of North Mesquite.
And if you're Todd Nix, you're real concerned right now because the ball is on their half of the field. It's been on their half of the field all night, and this will eventually wear down his kids on the other side of the ball.
Jason Kennedy is split wide to the left. McDonald's in the backfield for North Mesquite. First down play. 44-yard line of Pearce. McDonald. Another flag goes down as McDonald falls about the 35, 36-yard line.
And I think we had an illegal block on North Mesquite. I didn't see who it was. It looked like the outside receiver there came back and held. Yes, that's the play. You can see the Pearce sideline very, very concerned right now. They are not doing anything to stop this North Mesquite attack.
The linebacker core for Pearce includes David Wilkinson, Sean Neff, Wade Brandenberger, and Richard Cody. This penalty going against the Stallions and
holding
the Mustangs. That pushes
on
it
the
back across
offense.
the 50,
10-yard penalty.
48-yard line.
Repeat first down.
The ball is spotted at the 48-yard line.
Sean Neff, number 48, calling the defensive signals for the Mustangs. He's the 6'2 senior inside linebacker. First and long at the 48-yard line. Staying on the ground, Brian Bellamy gets the call, and Bellamy's a sophomore.
That was a good job by the Pearce defense, staying home, filling up the hole, very short gain. And again, that's what they need to do right here. We can't emphasize with 5:54 left how important this defensive stand is.
Second and long. They need to get down to the 34-yard line for a first down. Bellamy and McDonald, almost like a third-team backfield in there at the moment. Overstreet, the quarterback, on the run. Fine reception and then dropped. McDonald had it, almost outran it, though. Good defensive work by Cody, but Sammy McDonald had it in his arms.
Well, he was there. The ball just popped out of his hand. Here, Overstreet's going to roll to his left here. Very difficult to throw across your body, and he catches the ball very close to a fumble. Once those 2 feet have hit the ground, very close to possession there. Officials saw it otherwise.
Here's third down, and Pearce can get the football if they can hold him here on third and long. Littlejohn and Mason in the backfield. A little delay, and going down is Littlejohn at the 45-yard line, and another flag has been dropped, this time at midfield.
Well, this was a face mask call on one of the Pearce defenders. Now the question becomes, is it a 5-yard unintentional or the 15-yard intentional call?
So mistakes really piling up against the Mustangs of Pearce.
Indication, face mask.
You're going to see him there. You see it right there. And that's going to be the 15-yard, well, the 5-yard penalty, excuse me.
Mark the football at the 40.
5-yard face mask against the
35 for
defense.
the first down.
5-yard penalty. Repeat third down.
5-yard penalty.
Good look at the sidelines for J.J. Pearce. A timeout on the field. With 5:27 to go in the first half, North Mesquite leads at 21-7. We'll be right back. And welcome back again to Eagle Mustang. It's third down for North Mesquite at the 40-yard line of Pearce. They need almost 7 yards here for a first down. Wide outs on both sides. Wing back on the left side. Overstreet wanting to throw. Wide open, and falling down is Wisenhunt. Makes a fine reception inside the 30 at about the 28-yard line. And offensively, North Mesquite really controlling things here in the second period.
And that, you know, again, what can you say? That, you know, Pearce has them at 2nd and 20 and lets them out of the hole. And now you've got North Mesquite again with the momentum. And this game very, very close from getting away from the Mustangs.
Mark Elam described this one as finesse against size, and right now finesse is taking charge.
I think a better description would be quickness against size.
First and 10, 28-yard line of Pearce. To the outside goes Bellamy. Bellamy caught around the ankles, fine tackle around the 25-yard line. Again, it was Richard Cody, who's just super on defense, the outside linebacker, number 23.
Well, Cody has made a number of plays tonight, and mostly because he's had to make a number of plays tonight. But you're starting to see that wear-down effect. Number 77 for Pearce, Adam Trapp, getting up very, very slowly, obviously tired out there.
Second down, second and about 5. Mason gets inside the 15-yard line. Another first down for the Stallions, and they are roaring at the moment. Scott Mitchell on the play defensively for the Pearce Mustangs.
You know, one of the keys, you see it 2nd and 4, you can't give a good running ball club a lot of 2nd and 2, 2nd and 3, 2nd and 4, because you're putting them in a position where they're going to make the first down and they're going to keep your defense on the field. Right now, Pearce, obviously tired, is going to take a timeout.
So another timeout with 4:27 to go here in the first half, and we'll return to Eagle Mustang Stadium in just a moment. North Mesquite football is at the 13-yard line of Pearce. 4:27 to go, first half here at Eagle Mustang in Richardson. Littlejohn, and he is gone for another touchdown. Philip Littlejohn goes 13 yards, and for Philip Littlejohn, his 3rd touchdown of the game, and North Mesquite pulls in front 27-7.
You don't want to take anything away from North Mesquite. This is a fine-looking offensive effort. Again, this is just a little crossbuck trap where Littlejohn just outraces everybody to the end zone. But right now, Wade, you wonder how much effect that late touchdown that Marcus scored on the reverse is having on Pearce right now.
And Duran tacks on another extra point. Let's watch Philip Littlejohn.
Just a little handback play, and Littlejohn, boy, it didn't take him any time to get into the end zone. You really got to like the way North Mesquite is executing. Their running game is real sharp.
Well, another triple for Littlejohn last week in North Mesquite's win over Samuel, 24-21. Littlejohn had 3 touchdowns, and he has 3 touchdowns in this game, and we're still in the first half.
A new feature this season on Telecable's Game of the Week is the Trivia Timeout. A sports-related trivia question will be given in the second half, and you will have the opportunity to win a certificate for a pay-per-view movie with Telecable. Each week there'll be a new question and a new chance to win, so stay tuned through the second half for this week's Trivia Timeout. And folks, there are a lot of great movies out there to watch that are coming out on rental, so you got to jump on this one. A pay-per-view movie.
Well, back in the first quarter, Pearce had a 7-0 lead, but it's been all North Mesquite since then. And Philip Littlejohn has scored the last 3 touchdowns on runs of 1, 4, and 13 yards. And it's 28-7 favor of the Stallions over the Mustangs. Duran booms it. Johnson hauls it in at the 10. Johnson close to the 30-yard line. And so with 4 minutes and 8 seconds to go here in the first half, Pearce will try to get untracked offensively, trailing 28-7.
Stop by number 42.
Our telecable game of the week. We'll get to look at the Rams of Berkner next week against Duncanville. That'll be our final non-district game, and they're expecting big things at Berkner, John.
Berkner, again, one of the sleeper teams in the in District 5A, and you know we always hesitate to say that because it's always somebody who's a sleeper team that isn't Plano, Lake Highlands, or Richardson, but a lot of people like Berkner's team this year.
Eubanks, the quarterback, and that is Corey Haynes again spilled, and another flag. This has been a game filled with penalties.
You know, I think people might find out how good Berkner is tonight. They're down in Waco, and that should be an interesting game.
And next week we'll probably find out just how good Plano is when they take on Longview.
Again, that's an interesting matchup too. Right now, all you could say for Pearce is that there just seems to be a lack of concentration, a lot of penalties, a lot of mistakes, and you're down 28-7. Real important here for them to put something on the scoreboard so they can go into the second half
on the offense,
and take a little something with them right now.
Decline. Second down.
That's wound up right now. They look a little down out there.
Wade McFarland, the wingback, 5'10" senior, checks in with a play. Checks in with a play. Wide out on the left side for Pearce. Eubanks. Diving attempt by Richard Johnson. Nice reception by Richard Johnson. Montenegro defending. Football up around the 38-yard line.
And that draws a nice response from the Pearce crowd, who's very desperate to have something positive happen. There, a nice catch by Richard Johnson going to the ground. Again, Eubanks has a tendency to let go of the ball a little late, and that's why he throws a lot of balls short and into the ground.
3rd and about 2 for Pearce. They mark that football. We'll call it about the 37. Need to get out to the 39 for a first down. Levino is now in the backfield for Pearce. Running the option and the pitch to Levino. First down as he comes down the sidelines and all the way out to the midfield stripe. Paul Levino giving Pearce some life, 5'10" senior. Bumped out of bounds by Corey Green, but the Mustangs have something going late here in the first half.
Well, unfortunately, they may not be going far because, again, a flag is down at the 40-yard line down there. We're going to wait and see what the official calls, but you get the feeling this is not going to be good news for J.J. Pearce.
And penalties really killing Pearce at this stage.
Correction on the carrier, Paul Levino, number 44. The infraction is against the Mustangs.
And again, this is real demoralizing for a football team. You just turn out a real positive play, get the first down.
The illegal block in the back against the
punch
offense. 10-yard penalty. 3rd down.
All the way back to the 29-yard line.
And there we see part of that Pearce overflow crowd tonight, which is a good crowd for the ball game, but right now they're not too happy with what they're seeing.
So it becomes 3rd and long. 2:34 to go here in the first half. Eubanks will throw deep. And nobody can get to that one. Looking for Johnson. Well defended by JoJo London.
Get a good chance to look at Derek Eubanks' arm. Very strong-armed youngster who threw that ball a good 50 yards in the air. But just Johnson not able to run under the ball. Ball way overthrown. The danger here, Wade, 2:20 left. North Mesquite has a chance to punch it in. And the way they've been moving with the football, you get the feeling that Pearce is in trouble here.
So another punt for Brian Roberson from his 14-yard line this time. Deep Montenegro. Roberson gets off a fine punt. Montenegro over his shoulder, and they finally got him all the way back to the 26-yard line. Brian White Knight, 6-foot sophomore, pounding downfield to make the tackle.
I tell you, Wade, they finally got him, and give credit to White Knight for making a good play. But I'll tell you what, Montenegro caught that ball off the bounce over his shoulder, and he was headed toward the right sideline. And as I looked out in the field, if he could have got to the corner, there was nobody there. Kind of impressed with this little guy. He knows how to take the ball and move north and south with it.
London is in the slot on the left side. First down, North Mesquite. This is McDonald again. Well, they've got a fine core of runners. Littlejohn, McDonald, Mason, Marino. Scott Mitchell made the tackle. A lot of speed, quickness, and it's paying off here.
Well, I think you want to give credit to their offensive line. Nichols, Hart, Corsi, Stone, and James Gideon and Weisenhunt up front. They are opening some holes, but another key factor, the way Overstreet handles the ball is causing the Pearce defense some confusion.
Littlejohn reversing field, and he is finally stopped at about the 35-yard line. We're down to a minute 26 to go, first half, and stay with us at halftime. We'll be entertained by the J.J. Pearce Mustang Marching Band.
And right now, Pearce did an excellent job stopping him on that run right there. They really stuffed up the hole, forced Littlejohn to cut it back inside where the pursuit was able to get him.
North Mesquite now facing third down and short yardage here. Wow, big hit on Littlejohn. And guess who? 280-pound plus Charles Torello. Boy, you could hear that one up here.
Well, I'll tell you, Torello really stepped in and filled up the hole. And I imagine when you're Littlejohn and when you're 110 pounds less, you kind of go, uh-oh. And there's somebody up there just kind of enjoying the game. He's got kind of a good seat up there. Can stretch out, relax. Boom. Mr. Littlejohn, meet Mr. Torello.
Clock ticking down now, 25 seconds to go, first half. North Mesquite in command, 28-7.
You know, a little surprised that maybe Coach Nix wouldn't call a timeout there with a minute left, maybe try to set up some sort of return or a punt block, try to get something going instead of letting the clock run down. But right now, I think he wants to get his squad in the locker room, make some halftime adjustments, to come out and try to put on a rally.
Well, with 22 seconds to go, the Stallions will give it up. Potts will be doing the punting. Gets a good snap. Big rush. This is Johnson letting it roll, and it will be down inside the Pearce 35. Clock stops with 11 seconds to go here in the first half. Corey Haynes scored from 26 yards out for Pearce in the first period, but then it was all North Mesquite. Mason 14 yards, and then Littlejohn 3 consecutive touchdowns. 2 of them here in the second quarter. North Mesquite led 14-7 at the quarter. That margin ballooned to 28-7 here in the second quarter. So with 11 seconds to go, Pearce gets to run off a play here. And it's Eubanks just dropping down to a knee to end the first half. So after 2 periods from Eagle Mustang Stadium, it's the Stallions of North Mesquite 28 and the Mustangs of J.J. Pearce 7. Again, we invite you to stay tuned for halftime entertainment from the Pearce High School Marching Band. We'll be back for halftime activity in just a moment. And Richardson, Wade Utah with John Nago. Halftime, it's North Mesquite 28, Pearce 7, and the stats will show that it's been North Mesquite through the first half.
Well, the first downs don't really tell you much, but boy, when you take a look at the rushing yardage, that says everything. North Mesquite very dominant on the ground, very good execution, and at least 2 of their touchdowns came because they got the ball deep inside Pearce territory and were able to convert turnovers into touchdowns. Right now you can see penalties have also hurt Pearce. 6 penalties for 35 yards, and that 1 turnover, a very key turnover.
And of course, Philip Littlejohn has led North Mesquite with 3 touchdowns, runs of 1, 4, and 13 yards. The other touchdown credited to Richard Mason. He rambled 14. That tied the game after actually Pearce had taken the lead in the first period on a 26-yard touchdown run by Corey Haynes. But as we've said several times, since that touchdown in the first quarter that gave the Mustangs an early 7-0 lead, it's been all North Mesquite with 4 unanswered touchdowns and a 28-7 lead. And it may be a good time to look at a little trivia timeout, John.
Well, let's just see. How about name the movie in which Abbott and Costello performed their famous Who's on First skit. And there you see them. The Naughty 90s, The Weekend Follies, or Meatball 16. Meatball 16. I'll tell you what, folks, if you're looking at that, you want to write in probably numbers. I wouldn't write in C. But there you see, send a self-addressed envelope to Trivia Telecast, CO or care of Telecable, 1776 North Greenville Avenue, Richardson, Texas, 75081. And we, 1 entry per household only. All entries must be received by Thursday, September 16th. And if you get the right answer, and remember I already helped you out, it's not C, folks, you will get a free movie. So do it today.
So you got a 50-50 shot at it no matter what.
Oh yeah, we're willing to help you right out here.
The Mustangs of Pearce in the blue with the white trim under Coach Todd Nix. And for North Mesquite, under Mark Elam, North Mesquite 1-0, scoring late to Edge Samuel in the opener last week, 24-21. And Pearce giving up a touchdown in the last minute to lose a heartbreaker to Marcus, 29-25. This is our game of the week. Next week, a look at the Berkner Rams against the Panthers from Duncanville. We'll be in Dallas for that one. Duncanville versus Berkner. That'll be at Wildcat Ram Stadium. And that has the makings of a very interesting battle in our final non-district game of the week. Pearce will kick off to North Mesquite to start the second half. And it's in and out of the end zone. So North Mesquite will go to work from their own 20-yard line. Luke Overstreet has gone the distance at quarterback. A 5'9" junior, 150-pounder, has performed well with a running attack that has featured Philip Littlejohn and Richard Mason, with backups from Sam McDonald and Brian Bellamy.
It'll be interesting to see what kind of halftime adjustments Todd Nix came up with in the locker room. It looks like right now 28-7, you're down 21 points, a couple of breaks though, and the Mustangs could get back into this.
Kennedy is wide to the left. That's Littlejohn in motion on the wing. Mason. And North Mesquite starts off where they left off as Mason breaks out across the 35 all the way out to around the 37-yard line. It was the 6'2" senior, 280-pound plus Charles Torello making the tackle.
And you're not gonna turn the game around if you let them run for 17 yards on the first play. Let's watch this. This is just a simple toss sweep. And again, Mason sees the outside and busts it up there for 17 yards.
The quickness of North Mesquite continuing to dominate. Wing back right side. Split in left side. Big hole, and that's Mason twisting and turning all the way up to midfield. So 2 outstanding runs to open the third quarter, and North Mesquite continues to move without.
But you're not going to beat any team if you allow them to pick up 15 yards to carry. And right now, that's what North Mesquite's doing. Excellent blocking at the point of attack, and right now, quickness is winning the day for North Mesquite.
From midfield, first down, North Mesquite. Littlejohn caught around the waist, and he is tossed down for the loss. And that is Charles Torello. one happy young man.
Well,
Big hit.
Oh, excuse me, Wade. I think whatever happened in the locker room, Charles Torello got the message.
So a loss on the play brings up second and about 12 for North Mesquite. Football back at about the 47-yard line on the Stallions' end of the field. Kennedy is split out to the left, wing back on the right side. Overstreet wants to throw. On the run, nice grab by Mason. Richard Mason, the 5'10 junior fullback, 200-pounder, is leveled about the 40-yard line by Austin Terry, 6'3 senior. Wade Brandenburg also in there, the sophomore.
Boy, Wade, if you watch North Mesquite, you really have to be impressed with their execution. Again, Overstreet rolling to his left, hitting Mason. And terrific execution. And right now, North Mesquite looks unstoppable out there.
Officials looking it over. The football is just outside of the Pearce 40-yard line, and it looks like they're going to measure here. 10:30 to go here in the third quarter. Shane's being stretched here. That is just short of a first down.
Like about 4 inches there.
Last week, North Mesquite in their opener, 379 yards on offense. They rushed for 333 and passed for 46.
And I think you see how they do it, too. Excellent ball handling, good blocking at the point of attack, and they've got running backs who really scoot into the hole. This is a team that might have a little something to say about the 12-5A race this year.
Stallions at midfield. Kennedy again split to the left. Mason and Littlejohn have been the running backs. This is Mason. Stays to his feet, makes a good move, and is finally pushed out of bounds at around the 25-yard line of Pearce. Barry Sellers making the stop defensively for the Mustangs of Pearce.
You know, right now you can really feel for Pearce, but North Mesquite is just simply beating him off the ball. And when you have that big a hole, almost anybody is going to run through it right now. Pearce just not plugging the holes.
Again out of a wing tee with the wing back on the right side. Pitch to Bellamy, and he is turned around again by Charles Torello. Big defensive end, 6'2 senior, doing quite a job.
And that's the one play, ironically enough, that hasn't worked for North Mesquite. It's just a little sweep, and Torello, every time they run that, Torello is just coming through there like a bull in a china shop and wrecking the timing and everything else. It's one of those deals where you start pulling down everybody and sifting them out until you find the guy with the ball.
The indication is this one's going to go against the Stallions. And Pearce can use a break. All the way out to the 39.
But Wade, you're not going to get very far relying on penalties to slow this North Mesquite team down.
Holding.
Pearce has got to step up. Torello right now
first
stepping
down.
up, making big defensive plays. You need to get some fire in that defensive unit, get aggressive, and make something happen.
This is first and long. This time they stop Mason cold. Again, Torello leading the charge. And Richard Mason, the 5'10 senior, has been running at will. Stopped just inside the 40-yard line of Pearce.
Well, again, whatever was said in the locker room at halftime by Coach Nix, Charles Torello took it personally. And he's doing everything he can to get his teammates fired up out there.
Second and long. They've got to get down to about the 15 for a first down. Overstreet to throw. And just out of the reach of JoJo London, who did get in the clear. That's a 5'7 junior wingback. Austin Terry was defending along with Scott Mitchell.
I'm going to tell you a little something on that play right there. At the very end, JoJo London had some separation from the two Pearce defensive backs. Was not a particularly good throw from Overstreet. If the throw's on the money, that's another touchdown.
Brian Whiteknight, the sophomore, calling the defensive signals at the moment. This is 3rd and long. Football just inside the Pearce 40. Here's motion, and this is Bellamy, the wing back. He's at the 35 and finally is spun around and bumped out of bounds around the Pearce 30-yard line. That is short of the first down. Ashley Allender, 5'8" senior, knocked him out of bounds. Football is marked at the 31, which will bring up now a 4th down.
You know, even though they executed this sweep very well, picked up about 10 yards on the sweep, there's no need to punt the ball here, and you can see they're going to go for it, which is a real good move. You've got a 21-point lead. You might as well put it down there. If you don't make it, you've got Pearce deep in their own territory.
4th and about 15, just outside the Pearce 30. Littlejohn goes in motion. Overstreet. The pass out of the arms of John Wisenhunt, 6'1" junior, tight end. And the Mustangs defense holding North Mesquite on the opening drive here in quarter number 3.
And there, you see Todd Nix on the sideline, still not real happy, but he's got to believe inside. He's glad they stopped him there. And give some credit to Brian Whiteknight on that play. Good coverage. He's the one that broke up the pass.
So Pearce trailing 28-7 with still a lot of time remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Going to work offensively, and here is West St. Alban back in at quarterback. It's the tailback. It is Corey Haynes. Haynes fights his way out just across the 35.
And right now, if you're a Pearce fan, you'd like to see this team mix up the run, mix up the pass, run downfield, score a touchdown, get themselves back into the game, maybe pick up that defense a little bit. Their defense has been on the field all night long, and now it's time for the offense to step up.
Defensive tackle at 272, Chad Evans made the last tackle. Make it 2nd down for the Mustangs of Pearce. Football at the 36-yard line. 2nd about 5. Wing back on the left side. Wide out, top of your screen. Tailback Haynes. Haynes trying to pick up the 1st down, and he does so. Fine run by Haynes. Comes close to the 44-yard line. 1st down for Pearce as Anthony Marino made the tackle.
Number 25, Hector Montenegro, and assisted by number 21.
Wade McFarland, number 43, checking in with a play. West St. Alban, the junior quarterback, has this Pearce team moving. Johnson is split to the left, McFarland to the right. 1st and 10. 44-yard line of Pearce. St. Alban on the option. He pitches at the last moment. We've got a fumble. And another costly turnover, and North Mesquite has it with Anthony Marino.
And there was a bit of indecision by St. Albans. Again, probably better in that situation. They had the play strung out just to turn it up, try to get as much yardage and reload again. A very, very dangerous pitch. You're going to see him come out here. Now, he's looking to pitch. He can't quite decide. And North Mesquite had played so well. Just a situation where the quarterback needed to keep the ball.
So North Mesquite back on offense, leading 28-7. Football at the Pearce 40-yard line. This is McDonald, and McDonald finds a big hole and powers his way down to the Pearce 30-yard line, where Brian Whiteknight makes the tackle.
Whiteknight, number 41, on the tackle for the Mustangs.
The one thing you don't want to do is give the football back to North Mesquite, and that's exactly what Pearce has done.
Well, if you're tuning in, you're set, and it's Saturday morning, and you're wondering what Pearce is doing, well, they've been on this side of the field most of the night, folks.
Wideouts on both sides. McDonald caught from behind and dragged down just short of the 25-yard line. Wade Brandenberger, the 6-foot sophomore inside linebacker, 190-pounder, making the tackle.
First down, Stallions, with the ball rusting at the 26.
Another first down for North Mesquite. Mark Middlecoff checks back in defensively, replacing Richard Cody at outside linebacker. First and 10. McDonald bangs off the right side. Gets down to about the 22, 23-yard line. Sammy McDonald's a 5'8 junior, number 42, the 170-pounder.
Boy, and you get the feeling that North Mesquite would like nothing better than to just run plays 3-4 yards to pick up and just kind of take their time and leisurely stroll in there. Pearce needs to come up with that big defensive play one more time tonight.
Football at the Pearce, 24. Out of a double wing, McDonald, big hole, left side. He's at the 20, 15. He's down to the 10 and just lowers his head and fights his way down inside the 10 to about the 7-yard line. Finally, Austin Terry prevented the score.
Boy, and the speed of North Mesquite, very, very evident again. They look very, very quick compared to Pearce right now. Pearce having a hard time. What makes this go is North Mesquite walled out the Pearce left side or the right side of the defensive line, created a huge hole. Look at that. Look at that wall blocking there, and now he's going to sprint to the outside and use his speed to pick up 20 yards.
It's first and goal at the Pearce 7 for North Mesquite, knocking on the door again. This time McDonald is stuffed in the backfield. Brian Whiteknight doing quite a job, a sophomore. Football is back at the 10-yard line, and it's now second down. Number 7 is in the lineup for North Mesquite. That is Tremaine Baker. He's a junior. He has a twin by the name of Tremone Baker. The twin Bakers, one Tremaine, one Tremone. As it is, it's all North Mesquite right now on second down. And this is Overstreet. He's at the 10, he's at the 5, and he is in the end zone for a touchdown. 10 yards for quarterback Luke Overstreet.
And goodness, there was nobody from Pearce. He had the whole field. He could have strolled in on that play. Again, no outside contain on that rollout there. Overstreet never needed to throw the ball. Watch this. If you're watching, it might not be a good angle, but there is simply nobody there. He just strolls into the end zone.
Duran will again try to add the extra point. It has been blocked. And remember, you can return this, and it goes out of bounds. You can return a blocked extra point for a point. But as it is, it goes out of bounds, and the extra point attempt fails. The score is now 34 for North Mesquite and 7 for the Mustangs of Pearce.
You know, and Rich Cody did everything he could to try to pick up that ball, and it still rolled out of bounds. And I think that pretty much sums up what kind of night it's been for Pearce so far tonight.
There's a timeout on the field. We'll be back in just a moment. Go in the third quarter. The Stallions take a commanding lead of 34-7 now. Since midway through the opening quarter, they have really dominated the game. Duran to kick off for North Mesquite. Richard Johnson is deep with Corey Haynes. Haynes at the 10, straight up the middle, finds a little daylight, found a seam, stays to his feet, makes a great effort before he runs into the kicker, Emilio Duran.
A great run by Corey Haynes. Almost broke that. He had one guy to beat. And again, the amazing thing about North Mesquite is that one guy stood him up, and it just seemed like white shirts came from everywhere to take him down. Amazing the way that they fly to the football.
Wes St. Aubin, the junior, remains in at quarterback for the Mustangs. First down, Pearce at their 40. Playing rather late in the third quarter now. Johnson split to the right. Out of an eye. The red and blue of the Mustangs of J.J. Pearce. Here's a reverse on the pitch. This is Johnson. He's got daylight. He can run. And a flag goes down. So does Johnson, but a great effort around the 42. A little razzle-dazzle. And it was Hector Montenegro involved defensively. We've got a flag, though.
And that's going to be a clip on Pearce. Number 43 for Pearce, Wade McFarland. Or they're going to call it a hold, I guess. It looked like he hit him from behind and pulled him down. But that's what Pearce has needed to do tonight. Watch this reverse here. This is wide open because North Mesquite pursues to the football so well.
But the penalties have just been devastating.
Well, there's just too many mistakes, and there you can see. I thought that was actually a clip on that play. The officials are going to call it holding. But it doesn't make much difference. It's
from
still
start to foul, repeat first down.
And it also moves it back to the 47-yard line of Pearce.
That was an excellent play call, though, Wade. Good execution on the play, and that play is there for Pearce.
First down again, but first and long. Inside give nets very little. That's Silverthorne. Scott Silverthorne has scored twice last week. 5'10" senior, 180-pounder. He has really been contained tonight.
Unfortunately, not really enough time to run the ball and get back in the game right now. I think Pearce is going to work on some execution. I think the ball game is a little out of reach.
Second down. This is St. Alban.
St. Alban on the key. Start by number 20, Marino, and number 45, Waters.
They need to get to the 50-yard line, apparently, for a first down. And a penalty against North Mesquite should give Pearce a first down here.
Well, nobody's been hesitant to throw flags tonight anyway.
Got a 5-yard face mask against the defense. Penalty yardage gives them a first down.
First down for Pearce at the 45-yard line of North Mesquite. 3:17 to go, third quarter. Johnson split wide to the left. McFarland is on the wing. West St. Alban, the quarterback. And twisting around the tailback is Corey Haynes, the 5'6" senior, who last week rushed for 126 yards in a tough loss to Marcus.
Well, I like North Mesquite on defense. They play that basic 50 defense, but they stay at home and they stay in there. They're very tough to block.
84 is Middlecoff.
Excuse me, Wade. Again, Pearce finding a lot of difficulty moving that ball up the middle. They've had much more success attacking on the far side of the tackles, especially with Haynes' speed. There's not much room to run up the middle.
Second and about 8. Football is just inside the 45 at the 44-yard line of North Mesquite. McFarland is a wing back on the left side. This is a big hole for Scott Silverthorne. Finally, Silverthorne breaks loose and picks up a first down for the Mustangs of Pearce. And they're going to mark that football at the 32-yard line of North Mesquite.
And that was a simple inside counter there. And again, a play like that is going to work great against this North Mesquite defense. Big hole there. Here it comes right back at you. You see Silverthorne busted up there again. Team that pursues and angles and slants one way, it can really be caught by that play. And you're seeing a lot of that from North Mesquite getting to the ball quickly. Those plays are there for J.J. Pearce tonight.
West St. Alban has this Mustang team on the move again. Here's the option. This time, no pitch. St. Alban kept it and falls forward to about the 30-yard line, met by Richard Mason and the other linebacker, Corey Green. Mark that football at the 30.
Well, there sure wasn't much room. Again, look at the number of white shirts that get to that football. Great quickness by North Mesquite.
Number 87, Mark Diaz.
Second down coming up. 2nd and 8 for the Pearce Mustangs at the 30-yard line of North Mesquite. Less than a minute to go, third quarter. Johnson split to the right. McFarland is in the wing. Haynes the tailback. And Silverthorne takes the handoff, and he goes nowhere. He's pushed back for a loss. Corey Green crashing through to make the tackle.
And you could see that play. You could see that play coming all the way. That was Corey Green. And Corey Green was blitzing on that play all the way. And again, there's a play where you maybe like to check off or throw a pitch out because they had everybody coming.
St. Aubin off the fingertips of McFarland. He was open, and a nice pass by West St. Aubin.
St. Albans pass intended for Wade McFarland, incomplete.
Clock stops with 15 seconds to go in the third quarter. It's going to be 4th down. Obviously, Pearce has to go for it from the 34-yard line of North Mesquite. Fourth and about 11. Need to get down to the 22-yard line. Wide out, top of your screen. Wing back on the left side, out of the eye. And another flag.
Dead ball. False
This
start.
time we get a procedure call.
Offense.
Against the Mustangs. Illegal procedure.
So the procedure goes against the Pearce Mustangs, one of many penalties this evening. Makes it now 4th and a little bit longer. Fourth and about 18. Football is at the 39-yard line of North Mesquite, so they need a big play here on 4th down. West St. Aubin. He fumbles the football. Sort of academic at this stage on 4th down and long. Ball will go over to North Mesquite.
And again, right there, Wade, no time to really run the football. You've got to throw it down and try to get the first down or try to throw it into the end zone. There was nothing there, and he had to stand up there and throw the football. And again, we remember these are 17, 18-year-old youngsters there, but you know you need the 11 yards, and there was just no hole there.
Mark Diaz made a nice play defensively. And so with 5 seconds to go and what should be, if they get it off, the last play of the third quarter, it's North Mesquite from their own 38. John Potts, I believe, is the new quarterback for North Mesquite. Number 14 hands off to Bellamy, comes out to 40 to close out the third quarter. So after 3 quarters of play with Richard Cody making the tackle, after 3 quarters at Eagle Mustang Stadium, the Stallions of North Mesquite lead the Mustangs of J.J. Pearce. It's 34-7. We'll be back in a moment. It's Sammy McDonald banking straight ahead out to about the 41-yard line. John Potts, the quarterback now, 6'3" senior, 195-pounder. He also does the punting for the Stallions. Replaces Luke Overstreet. Overstreet leading North Mesquite to a commanding lead of 34-7. Wing T on the right side, the wing back. Counter to London. And London, twisting and turning, comes down to about the 46-yard line before Austin Terry drops him.
Well, I'll tell you, North Mesquite has an army of good running backs. That was JoJo London there, kind of on a little wingback. Watch him, watch this youngster move here. A little wingback counter play, and he's going to put on a few moves here, right, left. They have a lot of kids with some ability there that match up very good with their offense.
First down, North Mesquite at the 46-yard line of Pearce. This time, McDonald runs into some trouble, and he is going nowhere. He is pushed back. Again, Brian Whiteknight making the tackle, the sophomore. The inside linebacker has had a sensational game for the Mustangs.
You know, it's kind of funny in a night where North Mesquite has rushed the ball so well. That's been the one play that just has not worked for them. They're, bless their hearts, trying to run the play, but Pearce has smelled that one out every time tonight.
Tremaine Baker is split to the right. Second and long. Potts over the middle. A wide open number 88, John Wisenhunt, the 6'1 junior, pulls it in, but short of a first down. Inside the 40, however. Marking the football at the Pearce 38-yard line. That brings up third and about 3.
There's cameraman Dave Curlis, high above. Well, I guess he's not that high. He's about halfway up there. Got the end zone shot for you.
Power football for a first down goes Philip Littlejohn, the 5'10 junior. Littlejohn with 3 touchdowns in this game. His 2 in the second quarter just broke it wide open and broke the backs of the Mustangs. Another first down for North Mesquite. They continue to dominate offensively, staying on the ground. 9:24 left.
It's kind of solitary up there in section 22, but people are still hanging in there.
First down for the Stallions inside the 35 of Pearce. Bellamy to the outside, and again Whiteknight slows them down, but not before Bellamy races down to the 25-yard line of the Mustangs.
And this North Mesquite offense just continues, no matter who's in there, continues to run with machine-like precision tonight. They're a very methodical team, but again, with the great number, great depth they have in the backfield, fine running backs, and a good quarterback in Luke Overstreet, you can see why this team is doing what they're doing right now.
Here's one of the few mistakes by North Mesquite, but Potts quickly picks up the loose ball. And North Mesquite still has it. Mark the football at the 27-yard line. Bring up third down. Third and about 3 for North Mesquite. Littlejohn off the right side, and it's Littlejohn. He's still to his feet. He's at the 10. He's at the 5, and he's finally caught from behind.
Boy,
Ashley Allender saved the touchdown.
Boy, I'll tell you, Philip Littlejohn put on a show here. You want to watch a running back get to the outside and just run over people? Remember, this guy is only 170 pounds, and he just runs over that, almost runs over the second defender there.
So it's first and goal to go for North Mesquite, knocking on the door again, 6 yards away. Potts, the backup quarterback, looking very impressive. That is Bellamy inside the 5-yard line.
And you know, football's a funny game, Wade. Last week, Pearce comes out, plays Marcus, a team very tough to play on their at Goldsmith Stadium, and plays them to a virtual standstill. Maybe should have won the game. Your kids are all up, they're excited. They celebrated a little too early and lost on a big play. And I think you come out here and you can see the snowball effect tonight that North Mesquite's execution has had on them.
Littlejohn on 2nd and goal to go has scored again. Littlejohn, his 4th touchdown of the night from 4 yards out. So Philip Littlejohn has 7 touchdowns in 2 games, and that is pretty impressive.
Again, you go back, we were talking about Marcus and the game last week where Pearce played a great football game, probably deserved to win the game. And you can see the effect that it's having right now.
Duran, his last attempt was blocked, but this one looks good, and it is good. So there is a timeout on the field with the score. North Mesquite 41, Pearce 7. We'll be back in just a moment. Duran kicking off. Philip Littlejohn exploding with a 4-touchdown effort tonight. Again, in and out of the end zone over the head of Corey Haynes. So the Mustangs will go back to work at the 20-yard line. Some key games coming up next week. Of course, our telecable game of the week, a look at the Rams of Berkner against the Panthers of Duncanville. Pearce will have a tough test. They've got to go to Mesquite. In one of the major games across the state, Plano will take on Longview. Plano East will travel to Denton next week. Lake Highlands at Haltom. Newman Smith will be at Louisville. Richardson against Garland Lakeview. R.L. Turner has a date with Colony. That will be the final weekend of non-district play. Haynes finds a seam, and he cracks out to about the 36-yard line, runs into Chad Copeland, the senior, at free safety.
Well, that was an excellent execution on that play. You know, Pearce fans are probably a little bit disheartened here as you watch the replay of Corey Haynes coming out on a sweep here. You know, what's Todd Nix going to say to the squad? Well, he's going to say, hey, listen, whenever you're turning a program around, you're going to have setbacks. And tonight, you know, you take one step up and sometimes you take 2 steps back. It's hard to learn how to win, but you get the feeling that he'll be able to drive on from this and turn it around.
First down, St. Albans remains in at quarterback. Nice pass and completion all the way out to midfield to Wade McFarland, the 5'10 senior, the 170-pound wingback. We're seeing a nice performance at quarterback by West St. Albans here.
I think West St. Albans has a nice arm, and he has some poise. Again, probably not used to being in this position that much, but he's done a good job so far.
Football across midfield. Mustangs of Pearce on the move. St. Albans on the roll. Again, nice pass. It's Johnson. Johnson all the way down to the 32-yard line. So West St. Albans on a running pass to split in the 5'11 senior, Richard Johnson.
And as you're watching him move the ball downfield on the pass, again, here comes Albans. He's coming right at you. He's going to throw a nice throw to Johnson. He's going to make a nice little cut and pick up some extra yardage. But if you could add this passing attack to the way Pearce has the ability to run the football and balance it out a little bit, they're a dangerous team.
St. Albans on the run again on that running pass, and he's right on target again to Johnson. Richard Johnson at the 22-yard line makes a fine diving catch. So the aerial show looking good. The Mustangs on the roll.
Again, a good pass, and you know, Wade, we want to be honest, and we want to, you know, right now he is doing this against Mesquite's second-team defense, but still, it's a positive thing for Pearce, and you're glad to see them move the football and like to see him get a touchdown here and kind of try to pick up the spirits a little bit, because this has got to be a very disheartening game for him.
Scott Silverthorne checking in with the play. Johnson is split to the right. 5:08 to go. Pearce inside the 25 of North Mesquite. Levino with a nice effort. Runs out of bounds inside the 15. That's Paul Levino, 5'10 senior for the Mustangs. Chad Copeland pushed him out. stops the clock with 4:55 to go. The Mustangs trying to get on the board. Their only score came midway through the first quarter. Corey Haynes going 26 yards for that touchdown as Wade McFarland checks in with the play. Replaces Richard Cody. McFarland splits to the right, Johnson to the left. West St. Albans has them moving. Nice inside give here. Silverthorne gets down to about the 11-yard line of North Mesquite. Inside of 5 minutes to go. Join us for our telecable game of the week next week. Wildcat Ram Stadium in Dallas. It'll be Berkner against Duncanville. Duncanville coming off a big win last week over Richardson.
And I think that surprised a few people around the district. I think, you know, when you hear the name Richardson and some of the great teams that they've had over the years, you don't expect to see that kind of score. Duncanville apparently turning it around this year.
On second down, not much running room for Paul Levino. Matt Moffitt made the tackle.
Well, the fans are still having a good time. You got to say a lot for the Pearce fans tonight. You know, one thing we might want to mention, Wade, I've not seen a program as nice as the Pearce program. You got to give the Pearce boosters a lot of credit for outstanding programs. It's one of the best programs I've seen.
Football just outside of the 10-yard line. West St. Albans in the end zone, just out of the reach of Wade McFarland. He had him, but he just overshot him.
Boy, he was out there, and I think West St. Albans wants that pass back again because he had him wide open. Just put a little too much juice on the football.
Now it's fourth down. 4th and 7 at the 10-yard line of North Mesquite. In 2 weeks, our game of the week will open district play, and what a dandy. We will be at Clark Field in Plano for the Plano Wildcats and the Eagles of Richardson High. That will be a tremendous encounter.
And you remember last year's game. I mean, it was like Pearl Harbor for Plano. You don't see a Plano football team get beat 41-6 too often.
We have some tremendous matchups again in District 11-5A, and as the season progresses, we've left those last 2 games of the season open, John, and they may just determine a playoff spot before it's all over, as it really looks like the battle for 3rd place, especially in 11-5A, even though district play hasn't even started, could come down to 2 or 3 teams and could come down to the last week of the season.
Well, I don't think there's any question, Wade, that it's pretty wide open. I think you've got to look again at Plano at the top spot. We did see Plano East last week, and they were very impressive. Lake Highlands should be probably favored for that 3rd spot, but, and there you see Todd Nix, and again, Todd's going to have a long night talking to his kids after the game and explaining to them just what went wrong. But I think you got to start first with the fact that they just played a real outstanding football team. You got to give North Mesquite a lot of credit tonight because they came out and executed very well.
Here's 4th down from the 10-yard line of North Mesquite. Pearce would really like to get in the end zone here. St. Albans has open field, decides to fire a pass at the goal line. Touchdown, Richard Johnson. A nice aerial display, West St. Albans to Richard Johnson. And that is an impressive duo, and the Mustangs are on the board.
And, you know, you're going to look up at the scoreboard and you say, well, you know, what is it? It's 41-14, but I'll tell you what it is. In a game like this, you need as many positive things to come out of it, and that was a good, positive drive for J.J. Pearce. They took the ball downfield, they mixed the run, and they mixed the pass.
I tell you, I think Pearce discovered a passing game tonight.
Well, and I think they need to have that passing game if they're going to have success in the district, because there's so many good teams who have a lot of quickness in the way that North Mesquite has quickness, and you need the passing attack to keep the defense off balance a little bit.
Going for 2. First time we've seen a 2-point attempt this season. St. Albans at quarterback. St. Albans to throw. St. Albans to run. St. Albans diving for the O-line. It is a two-point conversion. Greg Jessup tried to contain him, but a great effort by this junior. And there's some things we're seeing here in the fourth quarter that might set the tone for the rest of the season.
You know, again, like we said, you know, when you've given up 41 points, there's not a lot of positive things you can say. But again, now here's a positive thing. Look at him put his head down and barrel into the end zone. Again, that touchdown and that two-point conversion are going to mean a lot. That's going to bring him back in practice. And Coach Nix will talk to him and say, hey, boys, let's forget about last week's game. We got another game Friday night. We're going to keep improving, and we're going to get better.
41-15 as the Mustangs, and there is a good look at Coach Mark Elam and the North Mesquite bench.
And he's one of the genuine nice guy, too. I had a chance to talk to Mark earlier this week, and he was real happy with the way his team played at Samwell, facing a team probably a little quicker than themselves, and or quicker than North Mesquite, and North Mesquite making a nice comeback to win that game 24-21.
Well, our director, James Paltz, and our telecable crew hanging in there tonight, and they've done a terrific job as this game became a bit one-sided, but Pearce wouldn't give up, and they've made it a very interesting fourth quarter to make it 41-15. First score since midway through the opening quarter.
This might be a good time to work on your onside kick here. That kind of looks to me like what they're doing out there. They have a lot of people lined up on the left side.
Brian Bowers does the kicking off. He booms it. And this is Overstreet, the quarterback. And he takes a quarterback dive up around the 17-yard line. He is not going to take any chances.
I think he was in there basically to catch the ball. He started moving upfield, maybe had some visions of glory and looked at all the blue shirts and said, nah.
He wants to be around for the rest of the season. That's our game of the week, and we're really looking forward to being in Dallas again at Wildcat Ram Stadium. Berkner and Duncanville, our telecable game of the week next week. North Mesquite with 3:10 remaining. McDonough tries the right side. Well, hopefully that touchdown will give Pearce some impetus in the final minutes of this game and into their next game, and they've got a tough one next week playing at Mesquite.
And there's Richard Johnson. He's going to take a little bit of a rest here after catching that touchdown pass. Now, you know, you got a chance to get the ball back here, maybe create another positive, a little surge for your team by stopping North Mesquite here.
And that defense coming alive, and North Mesquite with a commanding lead, trying to pick up some room on the ground.
And the coaches are signaling for a timeout, Wade. Again, that's a good move. You got a chance to get the ball back with 2 minutes. The passing attack looks good. Put another score on the board, and again, get a little measure of respectability back for your football team, and take something into next week that you can build on.
Number 52, Nathan Strong on the tackle.
There you see West St. Albans with some words of encouragement for number 23, Rich Cody. Cody's had an outstanding game tonight on defense.
Correction, number 55, Myron Brown, our right tackle for the Mustangs.
Philip, excuse me, John. Philip Littlejohn, if you joined us late, has been the offensive show again for North Mesquite. A 4-touchdown explosion coming on the heels of 3 touchdowns in the opener. And his 2-game totals of 7 touchdowns will put him either at the top or near the top in area scoring through 2 weeks. We'll probably see a few new faces here in the closing minutes for North Mesquite. That was Roger Zatsky, number 32. He is one of the new faces for North Mesquite. Fourth down, and with 1:57 to go, Pearce will get it back. Potts, the quarterback, also punts, and he stands at his 5. Single safety for J.J. Pearce, and possibly partially blocked. And a real scramble around the 35-yard line.
Well, you can see the Pearce band. They're still here, but right there, I think the referees are saying the ball was partially tipped. North Mesquite actually recovered the ball, but if the ball was tipped at where the punter was kicking it, the ball automatically is going to go to
I'm not sure what in the direction that North Mesquite has it again. So it goes back to the Stallions. They recovered. They have it again at the 37-yard line. They could just run out the clock here. Zatsky getting the call again.
You know, again, I think probably Pearce in their anticipation, somebody probably picked the ball up and had possession long enough for it to be a fumble, because the official down by the punter did signal with his hands that the ball had been tipped.
Clock ticking down, minute 08 to go. Zatsky, and he is pushed back to about the 34-35 by Brian Whiteknight. Inside of a minute. North Mesquite led 14-7 at the quarter. Broke it open with 2 more touchdowns in the second quarter. And we've got a little trivia timeout.
There you see the trivia timeout. One more time. We're going to give you another shot at it. And there you have it. You know, we've already eliminated one answer for you. We're trying to make it as easy for you as possible. There you see where to send an addressed envelope to Trivia Timeout in care of Telecable, 1776 North Greenville Avenue in lovely Richardson, Texas, 75081. Entries must be received by Thursday. That's September 16th. So come on, folks, give it a shot.
Well, as you can see, it's all over here. North Mesquite has defeated Pearce 41-15 as the Stallions go 2-0 in the year, and for the Mustangs, their second loss of the year. We'll have more on our trivia question and answer when we return in just a moment. Defeating Pearce 41-15. A final thought here, John?
Well, I think you got to give a lot of credit to North Mesquite. This may be a lot better football team than people realize. They really dominated the game after that first Pearce touchdown. You know, for Pearce, I think they got to go back, kind of retool, go back to the blackboard. I mean, it's not easy to come into a program that's been down and turn it around all in a couple of games, and I think Todd Nix knows that, and he'll take this game and he'll build some positive things on it.
Well, we might give our viewers who have stayed with us to the final conclusion a little hint.
But there were 3 teams fighting for one available trip to the playoffs. Mesquite and North Mesquite were 2 of those teams, and after Garland High defeated North Garland, then it was down to the winner of this contest. A scoreless game in the third quarter when Mesquite drives down the field for a touchdown. It's a handoff off tackle to Derek Dotson. Dotson takes it in from 10 yards out. On the night, 22 carries for 115 yards for Dotson. In the fourth quarter, Stallions quarterback Luke Overstreet will roll out. He doesn't see 6'3", 210-pound linebacker Marcus Sanders, who will flatten him for a big loss. Dotson again will make a killing play against North Mesquite. A big interception with 3 seconds remaining in the game. It stops the North Mesquite drive and it keeps them out of the playoffs. The Skeeters go to the postseason, the final 7-0. Now, Ben Dial's DeSoto Eagles completed a perfect regular season with their 50-13 thrashing of Duncanville last night, and Garland High moves into the playoffs as well as they defeated North Garland by 19. They are the Division I representative. Mesquite will be the runner-up to DeSoto in the Division II bracket. So your bi-district pairings matching the 11 and 12 5A representatives. DeSoto, ranked 3rd in the state, will take on Plano East. Lake Highlands will be in action. Lake Highlands match up with Mesquite High, and it'll be Plano and Garland. The Plano-Garland matchup will be at Highlander Stadium in the Park Cities next Friday. The Lake Highlands-Mesquite matchup, the site yet to be determined, and the DeSoto-Plano East contest will take place at Homer B. Johnson Stadium in Garland next Friday. Stay with us now. Coming up on the roundup, we'll move on to Class 4A, the big showdown in Collin County between McKinney and Dennis. High school football roundup on KTVT Channel 11. We're now 10 weeks into the season. The regular season is at its conclusion for all of the Metroplex districts with the exception of one Class 4A district, District 8, and all Fort Worth Schools district that will complete its regular season next week. For everyone else, the regular season drew to a close last night or this afternoon, and so it's on to the playoffs for the surviving schools. So let's take a look at those survivors. We'll start off in Class 5A. In District 5, the Battle of Johnson County between the Cleburne Yellow Jackets and the Burleson Elks as the two teams fought for the top seed in the Division II bracket. Keller had already clinched the district title and will be the Division I representative. Cleburne came out firing out to a 20-0 halftime lead. In the third quarter, Shane Stevens will hand off to Cortland Brown, who will take it in for the 2-yard touchdown. And at that point, Cleburne is making a rout of the contest. Steve Kelly will pass for Burleson. This one's picked off by Nakia Cody. He's an outstanding athlete, and he'll take it back 25 yards for the touchdown. 34-0 in favor of the Jackets at that point. Dustin Armstrong will finish it off for Cleburne, this 12-yard touchdown run, and Cleburne will get the top seed out of the Division II bracket with a 41-0 thumping of the Burleson Elks. Keller wrapped up its regular season rolling past Crowley. Also, Mansfield took on Weatherford, and it was Weatherford getting the victory, but Keller wins the district title. Cleburne is the Division II top seed. Burleson, the runner-up there in Division II. Let's move on to District 6, a battle for the axe last night at Max Goldsmith Stadium in Louisville. The Fighting Farmers of Louisville High taking on the Marcus Marauders. Now, Marcus very much needed a victory to enhance their playoff hopes. They had mathematical hopes if they lost. Marcus on the move early. They'll penetrate the Fighting Farmer 20 as quarterback Matt Kittle will roll to his right. He'll find Joel Kleinborg, who was then hit late, and this will set up a 19-yard field goal. The Marauders are up 3-0. In the second quarter, the Farmers get on track as Dwayne Brazil had a big night. Louisville will get by Marcus for the title and the axe, ultimately the final. Louisville 20, Marcus 13. Even though Marcus lost, the Marauders will wind up in the playoffs. That is because Ryder lost to Grapevine, and Grapevine, of course, is headed for the postseason as well. The Fighting Farmers are the district champions. Grapevine, 6-1 in the district. What a year for Mike Sneed's Mustangs, and Marcus will go to the postseason as well. So your bi-district playoff matchups now. In the Division I bracket, Grapevine and Keller, a rematch of a regular season meeting in Week 2, won by the Keller Indians. Also, it'll be Louisville against Burleson, Marcus against Cleburne, and the irony of that is it's the same matchups as a year ago between those four schools. Let's move on now to that all-Fort Worth Schools District 7-5A, where things were a mess after you got past the battle for the district championship. That matched Dunbar and Western Hills at Farrington Field last night. Dunbar was coming off a district title. Western Hills trying to improve as the season was progressing, and it would be Western Hills